Hey, I'm Sarah. I am the writer, reader, channeler of Sarah's intuitive work. Thanks so much for joining me today. I just wanted to create a simple video explaining all of my different services, why they're important to me, why they should be important to you. But there are a lot of readers in this space. There's a lot of Reiki practitioners, there's a lot of energy readers, etc. I wanted to share my own personal philosophy so that you as a client or simply an audience member can feel comfortable with what you are purchasing, as well as ensuring that it is aligned for you, to you. Okay, my in-home energetic cleansing and assessment is one of the newest services that I provide. It's like kind of in beta, but I have been practicing and I've been refining exactly how I, want this service to be. I think everybody's familiar with, the energy cleanser that comes into the home. They sage, maybe they set an intention. That's totally part of it. This service really goes a step forward and beyond in terms of reading the actual home. Yes, that sounds really witchy, but it is just truth, honestly. Anything and everything in your home really should be of use to serve you in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's a tchotchke, it has to have like some sort of positive interaction with you. Your energy is bouncing on and off of these objects in your home every single day. It's important that you have a positive relationship with them. Some things need to be refined, some things gotta go, some things need to be shifted, changed, moved, maybe even utilized for a different purpose. It's definitely in collaboration with the ideals of feng shui. More importantly than just the physical objects in your home and the fact that you are interacting with this matrix reality as a conscious being, is also the alive energies in your home, your family members, your pets, as well as geolocation energy. These are all real energies that you're interacting with all the time. How can you understand them more? How can you make better use of them? Improve your connection in your relationship? Also build off of your own strengths and validate and accept the other strengths of the energies within your home. People really downplay geolocation energy, but we are kind of using it all of the time. We're aware of astrocartography. Our zodiac sign and all of our astrological information is based on when and where we are born. The earth is alive, it's giving you its energy. What are you going to do with it? Your home and the area on your home, around your home, it's alive. Are you going to work with it? Are you going to parallel path it? Or are you going to work against it? All of these elements are integral to your success moving forward. So use it to the best of your advantage. This assessment is going to help you do that. I offer two different Reiki services, a traditional Reiki service, which is not even that traditional, as well as an intuitive Reiki service. Really the only difference is that the intuitive Reiki includes energetic or spirit guide, universal energy messages. Choosing between the two of them is really up to preference. I do feel that the intuitive messages can provide a little bit more clarity and support, and I'll also provide you with affirmations as well as intentions to take and move forward with after your Reiki session. I can do my best to give you an energetic purge, but if you are not intellectualizing and understanding what's happening, you may be at risk of repeating these traumas, these negative experiences, accumulating this energy, which is not really serving you. I think that the intuitive messages help, but also there are people who specifically want the physical Reiki service. And that is totally cool. It is still going to get the job done. You are not going to be at a loss if you are not getting the intuitive Reiki service. As of right now, I am offering these Reiki services exclusively out of Truve Gym. I am not doing in-home yet, although I am working on my capability to doing so. Truve is a community space. It actually is like a legitimate gym. You will have a private room within this space. I do my best to ensure that my appointment times are at points and places and times where the gym is not super busy, it is not super loud, but yes, there will be sort of ambient things going on, people moving around, different noises happening, just kind of the situation that we're in right now. I find that it does not take away from your experience because I am confident with myself as a practitioner. You're going to get whatever you need. Each Reiki service is a little bit differently. I do work with essential oils, I work with crystals, I do work with kind of wands, and although you can absolutely have a no-touch experience, you can also have a touch experience. I think there's a little bit of confusion surrounding what Reiki is. Of course, Reiki is a traditional practice rooted in Eastern cultures and Eastern medicine. There's a lot of fancy things that I can say about it, but to be honest, I've really just kind of rooted myself in how I work and interact with Reiki and my relationship with these concepts, I find it to be more effective for me to be able to take it, mold it, and ensure that it is coming from my own expertise, my own point of view, and also my own experience. What I essentially do is observe your body. I go to areas where energy feels extremely dense or through my own lens, like I would say, problematic in some way, shape, or form. Energy isn't moving, there's too much of it. I personally believe that our energetic bodies are an amalgamation of parts. This is, of course, also aligned to the traditional Reiki values. You have source energy, but you've picked up a lot of stuff along the way. Some stuff is ingrained in you. So, for example, like astrological energy. You also have the energy of other people, places, and things, negative experiences that you've had if you haven't entirely processed it. We are really good at rejecting and repressing energy and not so great at transmuting it. Unfortunately, there's not really like a class where we've been taught to do that. People get kind of nervous going into Reiki sessions, but for me, they're pretty low stakes. This is a great entry level opportunity if you want to get to know yourself more, work on your energy more, purge energy more. In my opinion, it's a pretty safe space. Keep in mind that everything that's being done to you, the energy that's being moved, it's really based on your own intentions and, of course, for your highest good, but it's based on your consent as well. There's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to be like against what your subconscious self truly, truly wants. You may feel emotional, you may have thoughts come through, you may feel like a tingling sensation. It's all totally normal. Depending on the level that you want to energetically purge from like a 1 to 10, if you're like at a 10 stage, I will say that be prepared. Things may alter, change, shift, refine in your life. But again, this is for your highest good. I genuinely feel like people who are attracted to not just my services, but any and all spiritual and energetic services, like this is their intuition, which is guiding them there. It's almost like this is like wheels set in motion and the service itself is really just validating that. There are so many intentions that you can have with Reiki. You may want to feel rejuvenated, you may want to feel less exhausted, you may just want to have kind of like things moving in your body a bit more. Of course, I don't guarantee that you're going to feel physically better if you are struggling with anything going on in terms of like pain and discomfort. However, based on my own experience and experiences of my clients, it absolutely has the potential and possibility to help. When energy accumulates in the body, it can cause a host of physical issues and problems, and this is one supplemental way that you can be supported. Of course, everyone's experience is different, so I strongly recommend that you check out Reiki service. I don't think there will ever be a time where I will be able to thoroughly explain how and why I am just an intuitive reader and how these services technically work. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed or they're just like a little bit confused about the world and the area and the space because like yes, there is accessing to things, people, places that we can't necessarily see with our naked eye. The truth is, we are complex, conscious beings. Our consciousness defies a physical matrix. It defies what we can see, our, reality. Oftentimes, I kind of like to explain it that I have synesthesia. I just perceive the world different from other people. I see things in grids, I see things in energetic orbs. I can read things almost like a storybook, almost like a textbook. There's just more information there. Mediumship definitely like goes a little bit of a step and beyond. That's really accessing different densities and dimensions, but for the general understanding of what intuitive readings and intuitive messages are, it's just that our eyes can only see so much. There's more depth, there's more interest, there's more experience to our consciousness, to our lives, whether it's the past of our current life or our past lives as well. So I specialize in ancestry, in wellness, maximizing success and abundance. What else? Oh yeah, life purpose. The reason why is, I don't know, based on perhaps my experience in this life or past lives, I've just been tuned into those energies more. I've just attracted clients in that space. But if these are things that you consciously or even subconsciously are interested in, anyway, although I specialize in these things, really my priority and my intention for every single reading is what you need to know right now. There are certainly readers that will provide you resonations, they'll provide you validations, maybe what you consciously want to hear. I think that there is absolutely a time and place for that. And I do feel like my readings cover that. But it's so much more important to me that you are not just like getting your money's worth, but also this is a truly valuable experience. There's so much time in the future for anything and everything in life to validate you, to resonate with you. But this should really be a therapeutic, important, impactful, and guiding experience with a lot of good advice. And that is really my goal. I'm not here to mess around, essentially. I think that can come off kind of intimidating, but the truth is, in a way, I'm really just reading what already exists. I'm reading your subconscious. So there may be a lot of fear if you've primarily been working from your conscious self, if you've been avoiding your fears, if you've been rejecting and repressing energy, but this really should not come as a humongous surprise. There shouldn't be anything in these readings where you're like, oh my God, that I don't resonate with that at all. Of course, I'm not a perfect reader, but that is just like not the point. I'm never going to tell you to do something like that's out of the realm of your like free will. There's so many reasons why people get intuitive readings, but really, at the end of the day, it's just to help. So spiritually integrated counseling is really more for people who have aligned to what their problems, issues, or just their needs, goals, and aspirations are for the future. It's supposed to be more tangible, more practical. You've got homework. We're really going to kind of dive into these things. I don't know if I already said this, but it's basically like a life coaching session, which is intuitively guided. So there will be intuitive messages. And in fact, that's really what is going to be the path for this entire experience. So if you've already got a sense of what you need to work on, maybe because you're already just aware of it, or maybe it's just insight from other intuitive readings that you've had, this is something that we're going to dive into. Okay, so entrepreneurial and business consulting is really exciting for me because it allows me to use my corporate lifestyle and mesh it with my intuitive work to create something which is like, I guess, kind of like physically matrix based. I don't know. I'm excited to provide physical, tangible advice. Like, I think that there's still a lot of ambiguity and abstractness despite my goal in general to provide physical, tangible advice. But for business and entrepreneurs, like this is really where it gets to the good stuff. This is where like the success comes in. This is where we talk about life purpose. This is where we talk about anything. If you want to create a new product, if you want to, talk about your customer base, if you want to refine your operations, like there is nothing that, is not on the table. That's the amazing thing about intuitive work is that the expertise is reading energy. It's not in any sort of realm. So there are just like unlimited possibilities and information which can come out of this. I also just find it exciting to help and work with, small business owners, entrepreneurs, perhaps women as well. That's the majority of my client base. So bringing these kinds of people's success, like this is what life is all about. This is what creation is all about. And I'm more than happy to help. So when I found out that people were offering psychic readings on Etsy, my mind was essentially blown. I had no idea that it was a thing. And I was also very nervous because I'm like, I'm not even going to be talking one-on-one to these people, but it could be a really great opportunity for both of us. I was very trepidatious to go into these waters because from a channeler perspective, how successful is it going to be if I'm not going to have this back and forth conversation with a client? Of course, if you are tight on time, if you are not able to commit to a certain time, and if you're also tight on your budget, this is a really great option for you. Right now, these are specifically served on Etsy. And it really spans like any and all topics. Actually, I've kind of suggested that if people want to do pet readings in particular, just because that's been quite popular of an offering of mine, it could be great to have an Etsy reading. The main benefit to a digital reading where I am not having a conversation with you, where I am acquiring some brief information from you and then offering you up a PDF, which is just like a sort of long written essay, is that I am allowed to have an uninterrupted flow of information. Of course, it's amazing and beneficial when I get comments and questions from a client in real time, but I am like in the zone. Whatever needs to come out is going to come out, and all of it will come out in that session, right? So like, it's not like we're going to run out of time. Of course there is a word count, but I'm not like necessarily constricted to anything in particular. I think it's just cool to be in the zone and not having to necessarily hold space for a client if it's not necessary. So it is 100% up to you. I love talking to people. Honestly, there's like no greater sense of validation for me when I am working with someone's energy in real time, but these digital readings are a great option. So I'm kind of dipping my toe into the events category. I've done a lot of metaphysical markets where I read clients in person. I am really refining my expertise when it comes to providing an insanely quick reading and in a very short amount of time. So I'm getting it done. This is a space that I really want to kind of grow and expand in because I just enjoy being in these spaces. I enjoy talking to a lot of different people, particularly people who maybe didn't know that they were going to want a reading or expect a reading at that current time. It's a way to reach out to people who may be needing some intuitive messages, but maybe their conscious self had not entirely guided themselves in that direction yet. I don't really have guidelines or a scope for exactly what these events are, but needless to say, I'm definitely open to them, and as long as you have an intention that I can fulfill, I'm down. Just reach out. I think it's going to be impossible for me to encapsulate my intention, my essence, my goals and dreams in this one video, but I would say what makes me unique as a reader is that I was a skeptic for most of my life. Literally, my intuition didn't open up until I moved to California. If you're watching this, literally up to this point in the video and you knew me in prior life or just like years past, you're like, what is going on? I totally get that. That's pretty much the title of my autobiography, so you're not the only one who's confused. Needless to say, was not expecting it, but when this kind of like intuition hit me and this whole new world, or I guess you could say worlds opened up, I realized that there's a lot of things out there that people may be missing out on. They're just not exposed to this category, especially like in the United States or in kind of like Western culture, particularly in Western medicine. There's so much supplement that we can have as human beings, and I think now it's dire. It really is. There's a lot of people suffering, with physical health, with mental health, and there's never a guarantee that I'm going to solve anyone's problems. And I'm not here or intending to replace absolutely anything. It's really just about the supplementation. If I can reach even just kind of one person and in some way, shape, or form assist with helping them in resolving or changing their life, I don't do the work, I just provide guidance and context, and the client does the work, but still, that's enough for me to be satisfied. It'll be worth it, genuinely. We need to continue to seek out and create alternate forms of supplementation so that we can live successfully. We only have one life right now, maybe more later. You get what I'm saying. Needless to say, because of my skepticism, because of living two lives in one life, I know how important it is to be practical with this information. Of course, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to. That just leads to a lot of upset and resentment, but I will provide you as much context as I can as to why I am suggesting what I'm suggesting, why I'm highlighting different opportunities, different paths, different decisions, etc. And really the rest is up to you. So if you feel called to work with me, reach out. If you feel called to enter the spiritual space in general, I can confidently tell you that it has changed my life while tumultuous. Would not recommend a spiritual awakening to anyone. There's so much more value that I have in my life that I didn't even know could or would exist beforehand. It's worth it.